is, in Senegalese word, gore, it means dignity. Yeah, and this is what they taken out to ancestors by slavery during 400 years in lot of island transit like this one. Of course, by the location, gore used to be so important. But you have to know, all the west coast, from Dakar to Cape Town, lot of island like this one, they get, and they was island transit, where ancestors are captives, not slaves. We're gonna say it's the official history who say doing business with Africans and brought to them slaves. But from here we have two reasons why we don't believe that. First, it's a Portuguese navigator. And of course, official history say Portuguese, they are first Europeans arriving in West Africa. But you have to know, first who arrived, it's an Italian guy called Mr. Alves de Gadamusco. 1435, when he arrived in Senegambia, it was already controlled by Arabs. And Arabs, it's the reason why Europeans arrived in West Africa. It's not Africa they want to found, not also America. They just want to follow the spicy way and go to India. But from Balkan to Caucasus, it was controlled by the Ottoman Empire, and they cannot pass by this Islamic Empire to go to India and think by the sea they're gonna find another way. They see Arabs already control Senegambia. They don't want to get another conflict with them. That's why Gadamusco just to continue the way and go to Congo Empire. It's where they start to capture African by force. And of course, 1435, they not yet see Americas. That's why Africans was enslaved in Sao Tome and Principe. And from Sao Tome, product like cacao go to Europe. But from Congo, people don't accept this. They against them a lot. It's not secure for Europeans. That's why when Columbus arrived to Africans, he asked for the Indian way. And they gave him a map, but the map bring Columbus to Americas, not to India. And they see land is arable like here, but lot of potentiality also like gold. But quasi no workers. That's why they start to ship people from West Africa to Americas. And you have to know from South to North America, passing by Caribbeans and others. And of course, Portuguese, they are first European who definitely installed in Gore Island. At 1481, first building by Portuguese. Today it's the police station, the smaller red one here. At that time, it used to be a church. And history say Catholic missionaries are first Europeans here. But we know by Mr. Cheikh Anta Diop, this is the Senegalese scientist. The University of Dakar was named after him. Slaves, first is, who arrived the first time, they not was missionary, but the Knights Templars of Christ Order from Jerusalem, Rhodes, and Maltese. And when we say Knights Templars, we know they are warriors. And we're gonna see they are first slave trader in West Africa. And it's the Pope, John Paul II, at 1992, who recognized that from the island. That's why also his visit was memorable. He apologized, do a mass, and ask for forgiveness. And Mr. Njai, the first keeper of the slave museum, answered, of course we can forgive, but we can't forget. It's for memory. And Portuguese never say doing business like French. They just kept the people by force first time. And Portuguese say just arriving with a system and need to install in West Africa. If they already get a system, they get the knowledge and technique how to enslave people. That's why from the West Coast, the local word, they just mean servant, not slaves. And by Mr. Job, we know slaves is just a deformation from Slavic people. Slavic today, it's Ukrainian, Bulgarian, Poland guys. And during 12 centuries, they was enslaved by the Viking from Scandinavia. And for Portuguese to establish the system, it passed by three things. First, it's erasing the memory. That's why first things they brought from the coast, it's school and university. We're gonna see the first university in West Africa, it was in Timbuktu, 10th centuries. It's the 15th centuries, when we meet Portuguese, we became talking people. We're not always oral people, but we're gonna see that in the museum. And of course for Portuguese, they say it passed also by violence and terrorism. It's from both, by cannon, they shoot the coast and capture them. People transit here like a captive, and Portuguese, to get them first collaborator to the captive, they do proposition to be free in your land and control it just apart securely. You'll have to be my collaborator and also have to pay indemnity. But if I control your land, of course I control the riches, and easy for your payment, you'll take my guns, capture your brothers, and bring it for me like a captive, not a slave. And of course, Portuguese say, first collaborator not was good one. That's why they take kids from 5 years, prepare them here. At 12, they speak Africans and European language. They're gonna be shipped to Portugal for 10 years. It's a time to really brainwash them. And when these guys, they back home, they just like me. They still black, but not African by the intellect. And my reason, I've been to French, British or Arab school and never learned my history there. The history starting since 15th centuries, it's European and Arab history in West Africa. Of course, from the school, it's where we get the inferior complex. That's why for me to be African, really one, proud one, people just need to go back to their school. When they're gonna know who they are, where they are from, they never get inferior complex. And from this island, Portuguese also need prison called slave house, where they can select the most stronger guys. We're gonna see them. They was 28, all of them facing the ocean. It's one of them. 350 people each house, every 3 months, just in the ground floor. Upstairs, it's a masters who live there. But we're gonna see condition. Like cell sizes for men, it's a 6 by 6. They are 20, 40 people each house. And these guys, they don't like me. Minimum for ancestors, it's 1.9, 180 pounds. In 6 by 6, it's like sardine boxes. They quasi standing 23 hours per day. They was chained by them uncle 2 by 2. Once the day, closer the sea outside, it's time for toilet. If not time, they do inside. That's why we don't know how Portuguese live upstairs quietly. In 15th centuries, they not was barbarian people. And Mr. Sheikh Anta Diop get a book called Civilization or Barbarian, where he explained it very well. And we're gonna see people was prepared differently. Self for men was so horrible, but when young girls, they get firmer breasts and are considered virgin girls, they get lot privilege in herself. The reason is firmer breast, it's just good to do the entertainment for masters at the top. And doing the entertainment is, when they receive the buyers, they pass 2 or 3 weeks. And to push them to buy a lot of people or recommended his house, he need young girls for them pleasure at the top, for the sex. And after use, they were shipped to Caribbean. If one of her get pregnant by master, she's automatically free. We also gonna see house like a ship, a boat, where they finally live. The foreigner, the young lady, and the metis baby. But when house like a boat, it's just to symbolize the status of people inside. But on the start, it's a mulatto who upgrade mom. She just to be the baby servant. And one of her we know well. was called Josephine de Beauharnais. She's from Martinique. And reason why we know her, she was the wife of Napoleon Bonaparte, King of France, and also the good pretext for Bonaparte at 1802, after first abolition 1792, to do against slavery in Caribbean and Antigua. But some people like Haitian didn't accept that. That's why they against the French army. They win Napoleon and go to the French parliament just to defend abolition. And French MP answer, you'll just have to pay the church and the government. And officially in 1947, Haiti already paid 21 billion US dollars. We think that's why they still poor country. Kids also was kept. We're gonna see that in the museum. And finally, these people gonna pass the famous doorway of no return. I call today the door of return. This door is the opportunity for everyone to see where ancestors were shipped to America. The reason is, when they abolished slavery at 1848, they want to hide this horror. From Dakar to Mozambique, they broke all the coast. Reason for the island to get building people can visit, it became the capital of West African French territory. Like from the island, a governor controlled 25 territories in West Africa. But it was just a summary. This part, it's so sad, it's slavery, but the second part of the tour will be conquered. I say Gorée used to be the capital, and since 1913, French government know independence have to come, but they don't want to lose the privilege. And in this red one here behind me, the big one, they do a normal school since 1913 called William Ponty. And they selected people from West Africa. They trained them here. At 1960, all of them became president at home. Like Mr. Boigny from Ivory Coast, Mr. Jory from Niger, Hubert Maga from Benin, from Togo. All of them was trained by French to become black governor called president. And colonial contract made for Mr. Pompidou since 1958 still control 90% of the economy here. It's these guys who made it. But let's walk a little bit before we go to the slave museum. You're welcome again. William Ponty, the French governor. That's why these guys at the end, they was called Fontaine. If I replace the O by an A, they are Fontaine, meaning a puppet. That's a black governor, not president. And we're gonna see another school, present day, upgrading this one. Just for young girls, they have to be the cream, selected every year from whole Senegal after 2 exams. First one like pre-selection, minimum, they have to get 16 out of 20. 150 young girls pass second exam, just 10% they keep every year, 15 new. Middle and high school. After bachelor, university, it's US, Canada, UK or France. From here to there, all the charge it's Senegalese government, but after university, 90% don't go back home. They stay there like school, the objective final, it's just to follow the money. And there they get better condition and contract. And 10% who back home, they're gonna be someone here. Like they get the government signature. Still doing the better contract for Oshal, Total and others. It's how they still control the economy. And from the kindergarten, you're gonna see it's where it still start framework. His head, it's not an African head. And reference, it's Einstein, Newton, Karl Marx, or someone like them. It's not Mr. Obenga from Congo or Cheikh Anta Diop. We don't know them. But this is what we look like. And if you look at him, he respected the France-Afrique system, symbolizing by the flag. This is what we look like. since 15th century or 17th century. Do you hear from Mr. Blaise Diagne? The airport was named after him. He was born in their descendant house, but we're gonna see where he was born and do his history. Let's see the church. This is the oldest one in Senegal, 1830 by French.
Assalamu alaikum.